All right, we are live. Just
Good
checking
evening.
sound. Give me a quick check, Pete.
Hello, and good
Whoa,
evening.
jeez, that's much louder.
Yeah, it's a lot, huh? Maybe I'll back it off a little.
I
How's
don't,
that?
I don't know if it was necessary that I had to get backed off. It was just I can adjust it here. I think last time, remember last time it was real low, and so I turned it up. And so this time now now that it was like normal, now it's blowing up. So, all right. So the last things that we did was basically these files for the um, loading the game items, the things that we're using within the game, right? Because right now we had everything hard coded.
Hmm.
So why don't we take a look? Let's. I think what we need to try to do is get these in there, and then we can have the repository as part of something that we can actually try loading in from. Um,
So you're saying about like get it into the game because right
yeah,
now we just had it running with unit tests, so it's not actually feeding the game. Okay,
yeah.
that sounds good. So
Try to because one of the things we changed some of the way that this file was based as we were doing the work, right? So let me just see what the difference is here. Uh, oh, we just don't have any descriptions in there. So
oh yeah,
I don't. It feels like we don't use descriptions for anything at the moment. And I think that's probably why. At least on the items.
yeah. I guess it just uses the name still, like to list it in the inventories and whatnot.
Yeah. So then now we've got the. Oh, you know what? Hmm. I thought I already had an achievements file there, but apparently I don't.
I think that was the last thing we were working on.
Well, no, I meant like I thought I put one. So the two different spots here. This is the test, right down here at the bottom, and then this
Okay.
is the actual game. And so I thought I'd had the two CSV files right there, but apparently I didn't. So
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, we only did the testing for the achievements.
yeah, I think the other part of what we were working on here was actually. Oh, maybe that's what we were working on last. So we had. Let me go to the actual object that we were working with, right? So it was what was it here? Because there was, yeah, I think it's game achievements, right? So in the game achievement, we have this rewards piece
Hmm.
um, that we didn't have in the file yet.
Right, and
And the last,
part of the problem with that we were running into was there's actually code in there, I think, right? Like that in that list because that actually executes and affects the game when it does that apply reward. So there's like
right?
a handler in there that we got to like maybe tease out from the state stuff.
Yeah, I think. Well, the part of it too is that actually, let me see. I think there's. Sorry, I was trying to see. Yeah, so we only have one reward type, right, in the game. So, and that has its own configuration here, which is fine.
Right, but is that
Yeah, I think where the problem came in. That's right. It's starting to come back to me. Um, we're going to want to... Yeah, so the reward, it's definitely going to be an interesting problem, right? Especially if we're going to have different kinds of awards, different rewards, right?
Right. Right. Which we will. I mean, that's at
Yeah.
least a few.
So I think what we need to do is, and I think this is maybe what we were going to at one point there, is that I think what we want to do is have something that looks like this. So I think we're going to want to actually have a table for each of the reward types, I think.
Okay.
Or we could have one reward table and it has a type in it. Let me. Oh, this is what I'm gonna. Let me close that. Because I think the biggest concern is going to end up being the fact that we don't have. We don't have a good way of managing that.
Yeah, well, and we have this set of details, like that price and whatnot that was in there. That's that's data, but that's going to be different per type. So that's sort of what you were alluding to, where it's like, do you?
Yeah, I was debating on whether we want to have uh, a new table per type, but I
I
don't
think
think
we
that
talked
that's.
about like a big fat data collection too, where it was just kind of like every possibility had a column.
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna have to go for.
Yeah.
Um, and then we can do this now, right? So now we can have like that. So then we'll have three like rewards possible. Then we can
Okay.
just give it an ID. Maybe we'll just do that. We'll do reward ID. Right.
Hmm.
So now we can. Actually, looks like we're still doing. Actually, gonna need to still do the unit test, right? So
Yeah, I guess we're not out of the woods.
no, not quite yet. I would just do. Let me see if I bring in this file. So we're gonna need one more. All right, so I only brought this in here so I can do this edit as CSV. Whoa, what happened? Oh,
The plugin not work?
no, it's not the plugin. The extension host for VS Code died.
Oh.
Not sure why, but it was. So yeah, so those there. All right, good. Yeah. All right, so we'll have these three rewards there that we can put in. Let's. I'll bring in that new rewards file. So we can kind of set that up, right?
Okay. Yeah, let's go.
What's that?
No, go ahead. I want to see. I'm not sure where you're going with this part of it, like what this is going to actually look like. So instead of guessing, I'm gonna watch with everybody else.
All right, so we're gonna have rewards. We're gonna have a reward type, right? And so in this case, we just have that one.
Right, which is like an store item reward or something along those lines.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, the store item reward.
New store item reward. Right. Okay.
All right, so So we'll have that. And in this case, this one has what? We just have count, price,
Right.
and then
And then there's the item. Yeah. Okay. So the ID is what we use in there. Okay.
yeah. Because I mean, really, what this ends up doing is constructing a store item from it, right?
hmm
So that's how we'll end up going for that. In this case, we'll do one. We'll do new store item. I don't remember what the actual.
It's down there, isn't it? I don't know. Where?
Well, it's more about the fact I'm trying to figure out what we're doing default, right? So I was just putting this in there. Yeah. So, actually, yeah. So what we actually want to do here is we're going to probably put in. These are some test numbers, right? Because we actually want to build. We're going to build unit tests to load these in.
Okay.
And so do that and just do a 1. Just
Right,
save that like that. So now we can do this. There's 2 ways that we could potentially do this. And I'm not sure what the ideal way is, right? So what we did in the code as it is now is we actually load all of it together. Right.
Right.
So you can see, like, when we construct this lifetime stat achievement, we include a list of rewards, which are actually, a typed value, and that it actually has a game item in it. Excuse me. So, it's like, do we want to, if we stick with that method of loading the information in, we're going to potentially end up bloating stuff and having lots of references to data mixed up in here, especially with like these all being referenced to the same thing potentially. If there's more than one way to get these. So I'm curious what your thoughts are as how we manage the reward list now. Should we just try to keep it inside this current structure? I'm concerned.
I don't love this structure anyway.
I mean, we fixed the fact that like it was using the setting inside of the achievements. Remember, right? So we took these settings and we actually break it apart and create the new object from it, right? So it doesn't use this inside of there.
Okay.
What are you thinking that you'd like to do? Like, how would you like to change it? Like, what were you picturing when you initially had done it?
Well, that's the thing. See, that's the thing. I really didn't wrestle with it. I'm not sure. Like, how do we pop that off? I don't know how to datify that portion of it now.
Right. So I think what I was kind of picturing. Well, that's not where I want to go.
It's weird because it's not a relational database, right? And that's just where my mind keeps going, is like trying to put it together that way. And I don't want to do that, so I'm struggling with it a little.
Right. I gotcha.
So that's when you're asking me. It's like I don't know, like exactly where I want to go with it.
Yeah, I think the part that makes it hard to think about it differently is the fact that I don't know if I want to think about it as the data. So like maybe what we need to actually take a look at is how that's being done, and maybe we don't keep it as all like full references to those objects. Because that's the thing that concerns me when I'm looking at it, is that we have this big tree of stuff that we're capturing instead of letting different aspects of the game do different pieces of it, right? So if we, like, I think.
You mean because of the way we have to just kind of monitor the game instead of like. I'm not sure where you were going with that.
Well, there's certain things that seem to have more. I'm not even sure what the right word would be, or right way of describing it. So the part I was trying to look at was in the. I don't even need the upgrader. What I do need is this, right? So the game achievement,
Okay.
and it actually is kind of a base class for other achievements, right?
It is. And it takes a game state, which was iffy as well.
Yeah, that was another part of this and the only reason it even takes the game state is because of this apply reward. So the
Right,
apply
which is that little bit of code that runs that takes the. So we need to tease that out. That apply reward can't be in the same. It can't be defined in the same structure that all that data stuff is. We need like
Yeah,
an intermediary.
you know what actually almost makes more sense is to do something like honestly it would be to do something like this.
Yes, maybe.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Because
And then the game has all the knowledge of what that means. And then we
yeah,
just need to keep track of what the reward is. So the piece that keeps track of when to fire it, all it needs is a definition. It doesn't have to have code.
that's what
We
I'm
can take
thinking.
that right out of there even. We don't have to do that right line. We can get all that crap out of there. It doesn't belong.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we can handle that in that, like, whatever that. There's going to be some sort of handler in there, right? In that apply reward, essentially, it's going to fire. So we can do all
Yeah,
that.
and what's nice about it is that it does actually have, and so I think that's what we were talking about too last time, was about the idea of like an implementation of mediator and stuff like that, so we could do
Oh,
some
yeah.
messages and commands and stuff like that would actually be able to help separate some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So I think if we did, let's see what happens if we try doing it this way, right? Just to play with it. Well, let me just create it.
Be trying to like just create the definition.
Yeah, I was just trying to.
You need like the little light bulby.
I don't know. It's weird that it doesn't want to let me do it. All right, so we'll just do. We'll go into here. We'll just add a. Oh, I gotta break that out.
Only took us like 20 minutes to catch back up with what we were thinking about. The whole mediator and all that. It's
Yeah,
like,
right.
This is the last thing I was talking about.
What the heck is going on here?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I am trying to collapse all, and it keeps muting my microphone.
Having like keyboard collisions.
I am having some weirdness going on here. I don't know what's going on. It's like it stopped wanting to do what it's supposed to do. Alright, so let's do.
I wonder if that had to do with why it wasn't adding it for you. It should have.
Yeah, right?
Like whatever that wigging out was of the IDE.
I'm not sure why Code Rush does that. I'm trying to figure out what that story is. Yeah, so now if we take this, we could maybe do So
Actually, you want to do the
yeah.
derived, right? Yeah. So
Present the what?
the class that comes out of that's based on the, I forget what's called now. Oh,
I think you can do it like that, right? Oh, I can actually do. Um,
yeah, you
well,
can do it that way. You don't have to. You can do it, and then it'll just spit the type out. Okay.
I think you can also do reward is,
Ooh.
and then I can do new store item reward. So you can do that. I
Hmm.
like the switch portion better. What I'm actually thinking about doing is right now just putting it in here. But what I'd really like to see is this should actually get extracted out to a processor class that actually would do the apply reward command, and so
Okay.
that way we can actually have it happen somewhere else. But for the moment, I think I'm just going to leave it as is because it's just a simple piece here versus going extra complicated for one
Right,
reward.
right. I guess when it's a big switch, we can move the big switch.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can take this here, and we will. Where'd it go?
Did you not pin that one of all the?
I just got too many files open. I think is what's costing.
Yeah, there's a lot of files.
Do we not
Do you
actually
not have that available? That's surprising. Is it like a field?
Oh, do we not have it?
I guess not.
I thought we
But,
did.
oh. So we don't do state operations in here? That is strange. So,
Well, let's see if we can, right? So it would be nice to make this. So we just do game state. Do game state. We'll just do it as get. And then we go to where is it here? So this actually does have the game state in it, right? So
yeah, there you go.
now we can just make that part of it, right? So we can just do public game state. And we'll just do a get. We'll just return. Just do that.
All right, and now you can dig it out there. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, and that kind of makes sense actually. That we probably want something like that. So I don't think that that's too egregious.
Yeah, that's why we're so shocked, right? That it wasn't in there. I was like, how do we get this far? Okay, so that means now you can get that in there.
Yeah. So now we'd be able to take out that. We could. So in here, the one thing that we would want to do, is this reward is not actually of this type, right? So, I have to do this as a new. Right, so we have to cast it off so that we can actually use it. Actually, the safer way to do this is actually to do it as new.
So wait a minute. Why do you have to cast it back?
So it's actually this type that's coming in,
Oh, okay. So you got okay.
right? So it's coming in as this interface. But what we want is actually when it's this type, we want to do something specific, right?
Right, and it
Other,
is that type, but it's not going to recognize we have to cast it into the variable. Gotcha.
correct. Yeah. So I'm kind of doing this as a holder, right?
Mhm.
Um, so this just needs to use that. Now, here's the other part that's going to be interesting, is that this doesn't actually...
They're not the same thing. That's
well,
built off of properties of that, right?
yeah, so so we have to get this, like, we have to take and make these accessible, right? So in new store item right now, they're read only. So I think what we want to do is make these, we now got to make them public. Now we can do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to capitalize them here, and I'm going to do a private set.
Okay.
I'm going to do the same thing. Ooh, I don't know what I just did. Hopefully
I think
it's just scroll.
Yeah, I think you just scrolled a little bit.
I'm hoping that's the case. Yeah, so now we can have that
Right.
take care of itself. Let me change that one. And then this is price capital. Yeah, so we'll just capitalize these. Right. So now we should be in good shape with that. We can actually get rid of this.
Yeah, we don't need that at all anymore.
No, and we can get rid of this.
Mhm.
So now this is just a marker interface. So we can mark that these are of that type.
Right, that's why it has no guts to
Yeah,
it.
it has nothing in it. Right.
Now we can get those out because you created those properties.
Yeah, so now we got it. Yep, so there's that. I don't know how come we couldn't figure out this last time when we looked at it.
It was at the end.
This looks like it's so straightforward. No, I meant even before that. Like,
Oh.
I know that we were looking at it and going, like, we gotta change something about this. This isn't quite what we're looking for. Alright, so now this... Actually, I'll just put it in here. Right, so then that should be, then we can just use those down here for these pieces.
Nice. Yep, that'll work good.
Yep, so now we've got that on here.
It's so much better. Calling that apply reward out here.
I feel like it makes sense here.
Yeah, way more sense when you see, especially when you see it getting called. It's like, hey, that whole mess should not have been in here.
Yeah, I know what I think I know what the attempt was, and it wasn't bad. The like the idea of being able to say, hey, this thing actually does something. But what the part that was concerning for me when I was looking at it is that command didn't actually change the state of the object, right? It changed the state of something else. And that was the part that was like, this doesn't feel right because of that.
Yeah,
right?
and you sense that there was definitely something going on here. This this isn't right. So yeah, I agree. Well, there was a lot wrong with it, but
yeah. Hello. You gotta chat.
Oh, hello.
Abdella one. I'm not sure. Abdelhat. Not sure.
Thanks for joining us. So,
Yeah. So the thing, where do we actually move that up? Right. So that was in here. So now we actually have this happening from our check achievements. Like even some of this feels a little funny, but we'll deal with that another time. I think this is still okay.
right.
All right, that is in there. So if we were to get that in place,
Right.
we don't need this file open anymore. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out where I'm at with what we're working on, right? Because this is not right. This is not right, Pete.
What's not right?
You having deliveries during the stream?
You know, do what you must. I need coffee. What else am I going to do?
Man, I would not be able to sleep, drink coffee this late.
I may not, but I don't want to sleep now. So.
Right. All right.
Just got to keep your caffeine tolerance up. That's all.
Yeah. So here's another spot that it kind of feels like. See how we're this register achievements? It's almost the exact same thing with how the apply reward was done, right? Is that it's actually affecting game state instead of doing a call out to something else that would actually have it adjust it. You know what I mean?
Right. Should we just deal with that while we have the pattern in our head?
I think let's not for the moment.
It's a little game. It's actually a like a text-based game. It started out I was trying to illustrate some fundamental stuff to my son, and we built this little game that you basically mine potato chips, so to speak. So it goes through and it rolls basically to generate objects in the game, and then you get a score from it. So I don't know. And we just started playing with it and working it through. I don't know. Can we run it, John? Does it run right now?
It does. I was just getting. There was one of our mocks for the test wasn't working, so it was missing that new game state that we added to it.
Right. So we'll run it real quick. It's now it's not actually in a console anymore because we couldn't do the things we wanted to do in a console. So it's actually running in mono game. So it's running on a canvas that looks like a console. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So you can start your new game, get to put in your name, you can get your instructions. What we ended up doing was we had two sections to the screen now. So we actually have like here's where most of the stuff is happening all on this side. And this side here is what we refer to as our diggers, which are for the mining portion of it, right?
So. And then there's a heads up like bar up at the top there you can see as well. So yeah. Yay. So that pink over there is an achievement. So we bought our first digger.
Yeah. Is it a game in PC? It is for the PC.
Yeah.
Is what we're doing it for. Here we go. So just do equip Sam. Equip.
I mean, I guess theoretically, like mono game is cross-platform.
That's true. It is cross-platform.
Yeah. I mean, so you could run it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think you could even technically. I think it's even set up where the mono games is run on. Can be run on like Xboxes and something else as well. I mean, I don't know if you'd want to play a text adventure game on.
Yeah, imagine with a controller. Oh my god.
Well, they have like keyboards now for them.
Yeah, I guess that's true. You can play with a keyboard.
Yeah, so you can see so once we equip these diggers, they start running, and basically, when you equip it, like you get this, the digger gets placed on a plot, and it tells you it gets a roll to decide how good it is, right? Like how much stuff you can get from it, as well as how hard the ground is, or the chip itself that you're mining, right? And so based on those two items, um, it makes it so that each roll, when it goes to do a dig, can dig up so many chips from it. So we have like rich density and normal density. Then we have the soft hardness and solid hardness. Now, what the real difference is there is that the yeah, right. Make it on a smartphone. Ah, we should make a smartphone version.
Right?
Oh boy. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're just having fun with it, and so we kind of kept going along the storyline. Um, and it's like the idea is that these diggers, you'll be able to upgrade them, get different stuff on them, and try to adjust them as you go. And as you, in this case, we actually use like chips as kind of money. Is
But you
that what
have
you
to
would say?
sell them. You have
Yeah.
to sell them. So you get like raw chips. So the digger runs and it rolls out a certain amount of chips, and then you have to go to the store and sell them, and then they become tater tokens. And then the tater tokens you can use to buy more diggers or bolts at this point. But then as you play through the game, and that's what we're working on actually, is as you play through the game, you cross certain thresholds because we have like lifetime achievements and things. And then that opens up new things that you can buy. And then
Yep.
you can make your diggers dig faster and hold more before you have to empty them and so forth. So that's like the basics of the game. We have a lot of it working, but the way that achievement portion, that's what we're working on right now. It's a little flaky. Um, if you scroll down on the stream, there's actually we have a GitHub. It's up there. You can grab it, pull down the code if you're that interested.
Oh yeah. Yep. We try to keep each of the streams as a branch. Now, we did start this before we were keeping track of all of our videos. So there's some of it at the beginning that was missing, and some of it also, Pete, you had started with your son, and so there's those pieces that weren't really included on video as well. But we
Yeah,
kept it, tried to keep it going since then.
yeah. We're early on too. I would just kind of get bored and start working on it off stream, so it would move along in leaps. But we've been pretty consistent with it lately, trying to keep it on stream.
So some of the stuff that we're actually trying to fix is those things that we're like, I'm bored. I'm going to try to put this into the game, and now it's like, all right, it's there, but we got to try to fix it.
Yeah, it's kind of broken, but it's getting us there.
Yeah. So you can try to repair.
Right.
Who needs to be repaired? Pete.
Well, that's an expensive repair.
Yeah, right. There we go.
Yes.
Say yes.
There's a little exploit in the game. You can just keep asking for new bids until it's right.
There you go. New bids. Oh. Yeah. So there's a new achievement. We got the 500 chips. So now with that achievement in particular, it has now added this new item into the inventory, which is actually what we're trying to work on, is how that process happens. Because one of the things when we were doing this, we just hard coded all the data right into the application, versus having like resource files that we could load in this information so we could start adjusting the game from files versus having to reprogram everything to get it up and running. So that's kind of what we're trying to implement right now, is getting the concept of resource files so that we can load the game configuration from that instead. So yeah.
So that's how it is. You may have noticed that we didn't actually get to 500 chips. We dialed that down so we could test it.
Well, there's that too.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the game, right?
I think so. I think that covers it. I mean, one of the things that we actually did as well within it was we actually have, how do we get to this? What's the stats command?
Oh, inspect, I think.
Well,
It's not in the help. I didn't add it to the help menu yet. I don't think.
I think you should put a ticket into GitHub for that.
Yeah, right.
No, do it right now. So when we first started the project, it was an actual console game, but since there were certain things that we were trying to do that weren't really possible within. Well, let's put it this way: to do it within a console wouldn't have been possible without using a special console library that would allow us to take advantage of putting the text in different spots and moving things around. We would have had to do a whole bunch of a lot of extra stuff to get the console to do what we needed to do. But then we came across, so what was the name of Sad Console?
Oh, Sad Console, right?
Yeah, so Sad Console is the library that we're using, which technically isn't a real console. The guy that developed this was actually wanted to be able to put a console screen into a game. So he had a game that was graphical, but he wanted to have it where you'd walk up to a terminal and then you would have this console that you could start doing stuff in, right? And I think that was kind of where it like was birthed from. But we took it and said, hey, you know what? We just use it so it looks like a console, but it's not really. And this way we can kind of mix graphics with it if we wanted to and stuff like that. So we're hoping to expand it at some point here to be able to actually add some of the real graphics into it as well, to kind of just to spice it up when things happen. So yeah. So we ended up doing this where so on this screen we actually technically have 3 consoles, the way that it's set up, right? 3 or 4. I think this top one's a console.
It is.
And then this window here is a console, and then this side's a console, and then the bottom here where we're actually typing in is another console. So it allows us to be able to kind of use those different parts of the screen for different portions of the information that we're trying to present.
I think it was inspect, and then the name. Inspect space name. I think it is.
Well, yeah, well, we can do that, but I was trying to think there's
lifetime on the end. There's a second for him.
I gotcha.
There it is.
Yeah, so you can get some of the stats about it. And that's about the diggers, but there's also even just is it minor? Oh, so we just have lifetime chips dug. So you can see the total amount.
Yeah, I didn't flesh that one out as much.
Yeah, we didn't really come back and do anything with that either. So we just kind of left it in really basic. Yeah, so that's ultimately where the game is at right now. We're trying to make it so that we can expand the resource capability of it. Additional. All right, so yeah, this is what we had added. Where was I? It was in this game achievement, right? So what we want to do is we've got trying to get this game achievement loaded. Oh, it was good to see that it worked, actually. I didn't even think about that. The apply reward in here actually worked properly, right?
That's right, because we changed it in here.
We did. We just changed how that was being done. So.
Oh, cool. I love when that happens.
What? You mean we did it right the first time?
Yeah, right. Look, there's no tests on it.
Yeah, right.
That's that. What was it called? Crunch. It's like a test guilt machine. It's like, oh, I didn't test any of that. Can we run some tests?
Yeah, right. That's a new problem. I don't know what's going on here. So apparently, whatever my headset, I think it's my headset. It's either my headset or it's Skype or something. Every time I do Control MO, which for Visual Studio is to collapse all of the functions down, right? Basically, so if we do it, it would be this, so I can just get that. Nice, Pete. Yeah, so that was, I don't know, it's gonna make me crazy now. So if we look at our test for this, right? So we've got the game achievement inventory piece. So we want to
So yeah, what do we want to?
Well, I'm thinking about this repo, right? So in this repo, we actually have um, yeah, yeah, thanks. It was funny because when we were first doing it, it was totally console, and then when we found that, we were like, maybe we should try to implement that. And then it was like, oh, that's a whole another thing of trying to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, it was hard. It was like,
Hard,
oh,
harder than we thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be just like, hey, we just roll this in there.
yeah,
Um,
it seems conceptually easy when you start to do it. It's not very easy.
yeah, technically, we still even have the project in here from when it was an actual console,
We do.
but
Actually, it's down the bottom there.
it doesn't work.
Oh, top.
Yeah, it's at the
Yeah.
top. It doesn't work. I meant to actually remove it from the project as it's no longer backwards compatible. So when we made the switch over, you could actually run it either from the console or you could run it in the SAD console, and it was able to work back and forth. But we had to make some design decisions that basically eliminated us from being able to use the regular console anymore. So we'll get back to it at some point. Have like real consoles. Yeah. So in here we have this. This is where I remember that I was getting concerned about how this was happening, right? How we were constructing these objects, um,
Yeah.
because the um, the reward coming in, like this, the game item is in a different repository because it's its own thing.
Yeah.
Um, and this actually having a hard reference to it was the part that was making me like concerned, right? Versus having an ID in here that would after the fact go and get that item.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So I'm not sure what the answer to that is. I feel like it's almost a similar, it may be a similar situation that we may want to look into, maybe just switching it to an ID, similar with the reward stuff. And I think that's kind of what that we can just do it as a lookup process.
So we just have to build that little lookup so when we construct it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think um,
So this is
yeah. So this is
so that would go into the table.
yes. Which I thought, it's funny because I thought we had put those in there, but I think I took them out because I thought we had. I didn't mean to maximize that. Thought we had it, but I think I messed it up at some point and didn't actually have a real achievements thing in here. So maybe I'll put these back in here so at least we have them.
Right.
Oh, and this was inventory achievement, right? Yeah.
Because it's an inventory achievement setting.
What's that?
It's an inventory achievement setting we're looking at to get the.
Oh, I know. I was trying to remember what we actually had for the name in here, right? Because this is like a magic string for that.
Mhm.
Yeah, always takes more time than you think. I feel like my whole career, it's like, oh no, that'll be easy to do. Nope. All right, so then get the description. Oh, you know what? I should just let me save this, and then I can edit this as a CSV. It'll be easier. All right, and then this was a digger. And I don't think it had a threshold. Oh, it does. Min amount there, right? So,
Right. That's it's.
yeah, so that's our threshold, right? So that's a 1. And then we can just leave that as that. And then I want to add another row. So we actually have the other achievements in here, right?
Yeah. There's another achievement. It just doesn't have a reward. Or that one doesn't have a reward, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Because there's 2 chips achievements, right?
There's lifetime stats.
Ah, that's what that is. The lifetime stats achievement.
Yeah. Actually, and we have 2 in here because we put 2 different ones in there for it. All right. Try to make room so I can see both of them at the same time. All right, and then this is a lifetime stat achievement. Let me just make sure that was the right name. Yep. All right, and we'll just copy this one here.
Yeah, that one actually does get used. I think it says it in the pink bar.
It does. It does. Yeah. So, and in this case, this is actually going to use this name here. Yeah, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad to. C# is, you know, I've enjoyed it for a long time. I was pretty fortunate enough to get started on it when it was before it was 1.1 actually.
Yeah, like brand new.
Yeah, we're both Pete and I were working together with another guy, Tony, and we were really gotten fortunate to get into it early.
Yeah, I think I had a bootleg copy, the very first one. I think it was on a disc, like .NET 1. I don't know, whatever.
I mean, I don't know about it being bootleg, but we downloaded it.
Yeah, I mean, I had one though. I think I had discs at one point. It was like, here's the new one. And definitely with the VB6 and all that my copy of that was definitely, somebody handed that to me at like the back of a computer store.
Oh.
But,
yeah, well, that was definitely a VB6.
Yeah, VB6 deal, right?
It kind of was. All right, so we got that in there, and that's good. All right, so that's that one. I need to add one more. And that's going to be for this one. All right. Data entry.
Yeah, right.
This is 100, and I think it was the same stat, right? Yeah, lifetime chips. So I just put that in there. Save that.
That yes. Paste didn't go right.
Oh.
There you go.
Thank you. That's why it's good to have pair coding, right? So you can catch that. Catch bad data entry.
Got your back, man. I got your back. Thank goodness you can type and talk, or we wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, right? Alright, so here's what we can... Oh, this was a test one. Yes, I want to leave that. Let me put a rewards table in here. So we can text. This is going to be rewards. Okay, that's that. Let me copy this. Then I can bring. Oop, that's for tests. That.
A lot of files open, man.
I know. Oh. So we got to get the. So I'm just trying to get these rewards in there so we can have something to even deal with, right? Actually, we probably need to even build the. Oh, we'll build that after to get these files constructed, because we need to have a repository for it so that we can load in these rewards as well. So here we're just going to do new store item reward 120 game ID. Shoot. Standard bit, so that's a 5.
That's a 5, yeah. That was the bit you were doing, right?
Yeah. Oh, that actually probably shouldn't have been that one, actually, right? So this actually should probably be 4, because I think what
so that's the hopper?
Yeah, because that's this one here. That's really the first
yeah,
one.
okay.
So I want to do that one as 1.
And then the bit's the second one.
Yeah. I think we just did this the same. What's that?
How much time does it take in working in this project? How much have we put into time? We've been working on it for like a year on and off.
Yeah.
Not a lot of time though. I mean, we've been saving it for months and months now. We've been saving it for this 2 hours, so a couple hours a week, but for months. I don't know. We could move it faster if it was like our job, but we're kind of having fun with it. There's a lot of stuff too where we're kind of doing it the simple way first, as far as we can, just so that if people do follow along, they can see it evolve. And then when we have to make it more complex, then we take that leap kind of thing. So that's not always the fastest way to knock something out necessarily. So. Like, I don't know that we would have hard coded everything from the jump. If we were doing, you know what I mean? If we didn't just want to illustrate, like I was trying to show Val the workings of programming. So.
Which is your son, right?
Yeah, Valentino's my son.
Yeah, because like we didn't do any kind of resort or any kind of we didn't do any kind of what the heck's going on here? Give me 1 second. I got lost. I thought. Oh, never mind. Yeah, so I just wanted to be able to test these. Yeah, so that's fine. Okay. Yeah, so, but if you think about it, like, we were probably doing about an hour and a half on the stream, right? And we were doing it once a week.
Yeah, for at least since, when did we start doing them consistently?
Like yeah, I think it was February.
Was it February we started doing them every week? Maybe it was February.
I think it was February. Yeah. But, yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, there's definitely...
We try and do it every week, so pop in for a little bit if you like.
Yeah.
Throw up a PR too if you like, for that matter.
Yep, we are accepting PRs. We got to get more tickets on there. That's the thing. We need to get more issues logged so that we can, you know, give some awareness to what actually still needs to be done and what people could jump in on.
Yeah, we should go through them. All takes time. We'll get to it.
Yep. Let's see. We're gonna do a reward repository tests. All right. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I gotta get a cough button. So now we're going to put in our test. Let's just make sure it's working. There we go. Yep, and it's green. I have to say I'm very happy with nCrunch. I still think I like it better than the built-in one on Visual Studio.
Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, it's been a week since we talked about it. You said you were going to try it out. You like it better, huh?
I like
Still superior.
I like this better. Yeah. I tell you the biggest piece about it is that you get a lot of information right from these side panels here, which
Yeah.
you don't really get that in the Visual Studio one. Um, you get
So
some of it.
you're talking about like when you hover the dots and stuff on the side,
Yeah. So
like you
like
get
see,
that feedback. Yeah.
yeah. So you can cover over here and you can see, how long the execution time was. You'll actually even see, and I don't know if we have a good example of it.
Yeah. We don't have super robust tests in here.
Well, it's not that. It's what I'm looking for was there's you can see here it's talking about what the execution time is for the test.
Oh yeah. Right. I remember looking at that.
Yeah, so that's pretty nice. But there's actually a piece of this that, as part of the coverage that it does, is that when you go in and you take a look at the lot, like the code where it's processing it, you'll actually get yellow markers if it's slow. So you can actually,
Yeah, inside the dot, right? I remember seeing
yeah,
that.
yeah. So
There it is. There's one.
I think this is, yeah. So it's saying, look, this line took 156 milliseconds. I,
Huh.
I think it's really neat that they actually have that in there. It's like, oh, look, this is actually, it's just kind of slow right here. This is not incredibly slow, but comparatively, right? This is where the majority of this execution for this test is happening, which makes sense because this here is actually where it's going and reading the file. So it's loading the file in on this particular line. So it makes sense. So
Yeah, that's cool. Can we put like a stuff we like on this stream, like down the bottom for people? Like links
yeah, I
and
think
stuff?
we could probably add links to it. We should even add it to the we could add it to the Pete's House of Code website too.
Yeah, we totally could add it to the website, but I was thinking it'd be nice if it was like right here.
Yeah. So my Dart League started back up, right? And so last week I was meeting up with Mike O'Connor, and we were talking, and I think it was 2 years ago. I was like, he does mostly Python development. He works at like a science um, like a science research place. So they do a lot of like experimentation and big data, and they have a lot of data stuff that they work with. So Python's kind of their tool that they use for doing their development. And so we were talking about some stuff, and I got him into using containers. I got him into VS Code, and it's like when I saw him, because we haven't really seen each other because he's in a different division. Um, so when we ran into each other, he's like, dude, he's like, you turned me on to that, and it is awesome. It's like VS Code is great. It's like I can't even imagine ever doing development outside of containers. Like I just can never imagine doing it. And so it was pretty cool. I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. I was able to get him turned on to that.
That is pretty
So
cool. So you ran into him when?
on last Thursday.
That's cool.
So we're gonna need so much boilerplate code, right? So I have to do something like this over here. But actually what I want here is going to be a reward repository. So we'll just put in this. We'll do the basic rewards. All right. Actually, I need to figure out. I was trying to look where I put these, so I can put
Like
it in the same spot.
in the game, like in
yeah. So it's actually.
Can't you hover the tab and it gives you the path?
Yeah. Well, it has it like right here. Yeah, interesting. Oh, I just put them all in the same file. I was like, why are these all like right there? Right, so this is the achievement.
Okay.
Oh,
I guess we deferred on that decision. That's why they're all there. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't separate them out at the last one, right? So Ooh, what do we call those? I think it's I reward.
Achievement reward, I think.
I.
Achievement reward, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. All right, cool. Ooh. Oh, this is not implemented. Yeah, there we go. All right, we'll just copy that in there. Because who? Alright, so we're actually going to have to do, this is actually going to be a little bit more like the achievement repository versus the game item repository, because we have different types, right?
Right.
So we're actually going to do something very similar to this. So what I did here was I had this internal class that we were using to be able to manage the data as it was coming in before we transformed it. So we're going to do the same thing here. So we'll just do reward record.
What's that look like?
It's going to be basically the same as the file, right?
Okay.
So this is just going to have, yeah, it's the same as the file. Mainly the reason for that is because it makes it easier to do the transform using CSV helper, because it will actually take it right from the header and know how to transform it into the object for us. So we don't have to do anything special.
Right. Hey, I remember that from last time, actually, yeah.
Yeah. So that, little extra code there. Price. And then game item ID. All right, so we get that, get there.
You got an extra little T up there.
That's extra T for flavor. Yeah, so now we're going to take this, we're going to load it in here so we can get those records. So we might be better to do this. So we'll pull this out and then we'll reprocess it after the fact versus doing it inside of there. I don't think I did it. Did I do that in here? I did. I don't know. I'm not. So my biggest concern, and I'll say why I'm not a fan of this, and I think we should probably move this outside of here,
Okay.
this is. Oh, you know what? Hold on. So this actually really should be outside of here, because this doesn't need to be inside that using, because it's not like it keeps the records open.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Oh, it's because of this. Because it's getting.
Because it's setting it there.
Yeah.
That's why it's a scope issue.
Yeah, we'll leave it in there. I'm not. It feels weird. There's like a part of me that feels like this building portion.
Like that switch is bothering you, really.
Yeah.
Like doing that extra bit of work in there.
Yeah. You know what I think? I think here's what I actually want to do. Let's take this. We'll put this down here. I'm going to take this and this I'm going to turn into a method.
Oh, its own method.
Yeah. Let's say get records. Oh, no, just get records. Right, so then I can do records.
Right. Okay.
And then I can go to this, and now this will actually return. You know what I should do is I should actually make this. Oh, stop. That.
Now you're going to have to cast that or do like a generic for that achievement record? Or
No.
probably not, huh?
No, just that. So then now we have that. Now it's separated out so we get the records, and then we can do some processing. Now, what's really nice about this is that technically we can then inline this. So we don't need the temp anymore. There we go. Happy? So I think that's better. Still feels a little weird doing a select and then having this code inside of here, but
Because you don't like doing that switch in there
it's
inside the select. I mean,
yeah, it has to do inside the select that concerns me, but it's not terrible, just it's not great either. So I think with this, I'm going to do the same thing, right? So if I just do, I can do this where I can say, right, we'll just do that, we'll do records, and then I'll get rid of this, and I'll do something here, just that. Ooh, why does it not like that?
I don't know what's up with that.
Oh, because this is actually an IEnumerable.
Oh,
Right, so then, yes, that's fine now. So now we can do that. We'll extract method, we'll do get records, records. Then we can do that, and then inline 10. There we go. That's very similar to what we had. Then we'll do the. I think we'll just do the same logic in here, right? The thing I wasn't happy with in the top.
yeah, just put that switch up in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's still the select in there, but you feel better about it here?
No.
Not really.
No. It doesn't please me.
Well, how would you work that logic out otherwise then? Like how would that go? Would you pull it out and then?
I think I would. Well, it's more about the fact that I would just do it as a. I think a for each might be better in this case, or I'd move it into a different method that would be a construct, like a builder. Say build from type or something versus having the switch in here. But that's why I was saying it's not. It could be better, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I wanted to hear what some of the approaches that might work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's always the concern of like over engineering, and so it's like I don't know. Like sometimes it's like, it's not worth going all that if you're only gonna have that little bit in there. But it's like as it starts growing, then all of a sudden you're like, all right, now we've got to do it.
Yeah, but usually it's the same amount of work. Well, I mean, like 2/3 of the time it's the same amount of work. Every now and then you paint yourself in a corner, but I don't think this is that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think it will.
Yeah, I was just interested in some of the approaches you were thinking of, honestly, just for the stream's sake or whatever.
Yeah,
Just
we
to
can
talk
actually
about
even kind of do it in this one, right? So cannot be inferred from the usage.
what cannot be inferred from the usage.
I don't know. That was the part that I was kind of surprised by. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it was.
Cast it maybe to the I achievement.
No.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Is it that I can't figure out what the type is coming out? Maybe that's what it is. Huh, really? That's how I did it up here, right? And it works?
Oh, you have a break instead of a return though in your switch.
That's fine.
Okay. Well, no, that one's has a return, but
Yeah. I mean, so down here I haven't even done anything for it yet, so.
right. Yeah, I didn't know if it would get upset with that.
What the heck just happened there? Maybe this is where the problem comes in. Maybe I just haven't finished this yet because it doesn't have the return on it just yet. So, just do that. Build. Do that, and then we'll take in this reward record. Alright, so then we can do. So here it's going to get a little tricky again, because of the idea that we're bundling in the game item as part of the dependency chain on it, and it's really its own concept, which is part of what's going to make it a little rough. But I think for right now, we'll just leave it empty. We need to do record dot. We'll just do that.
Okay.
See, now it's happy because so I see what was causing it. So this return here with null, it was like I don't know what that actual type is going to be until I had this in here, which actually is saying here's this type that's coming out of here.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
So that's why it wasn't happy. So it should be interesting. I thought I had. Oh no. So pull that in. Put that there. So now we can actually do. We'll just call it a little something. Alright, we'll just do equals repo dot get all, and then we'll make the test for right now. Just do a
What's that little star in your IntelliSense? It was weird.
Oh, that's actually Visual Studio 2019. It has a thing now that so IntelliCode suggested based on this content. So it says based on what you're doing, this is probably the most likely thing that you want. So instead of it just being purely by alphabetical, it's making a guess.
Sort of prioritized. Yeah, it
Mhm.
sort of knows what you're trying to code. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's not should be. No.
Yeah, I think that was right.
No, that's
Ooh.
right. It took a minute.
All right, nice.
Did
So
it
now
fail?
this is actually failing. Yeah, it's good. Oh, could not find file. Oh, you know why? Because I did not make it. I didn't change the properties on this new file to copy. All right, so now it's copying. Let's see if that'll actually fix it. I have to rebuild the whole thing.
Did it run?
Did what run?
The test.
I don't know. It should have found it this time.
Do you need to change the file?
With high priority. It's going to execute it. No, it still doesn't like it.
Oh, it's the wrong name.
Oh,
Basic rewards.
No, it's because I didn't do this one.
I
did the one
you included the wrong file or copied the wrong file.
Yeah.
That'll work though.
Yeah, you know what? I wanted to actually make sure that there was two in here, so.
Oh, it wouldn't have worked.
It would have gotten past that. It still should have failed though.
Yeah.
Hey, there we go. Now we're getting somewhere. So now it's like we come over here. This is the part that makes this so neat. Oh, interesting. Did I not put it in as new store item reward? Oh, I don't have this content in here, right? Let me see something here. So, let me close that one. Let's edit this. Oh, new store.
Reward.
So yeah, I didn't.
Store item.
That's the part, right? What was it supposed to be? New store item reward. Yeah, and I was thinking it was
to them or no?
Say that again.
Don't, right? You don't 1 and 2 them because that's a type, right?
Yes, that's what I made the mistake of too. Is that I put that in there as a type instead of.
Okay.
Oh, so now you can see now it's green.
Ah.
So what made me realize there was something wrong is that these were white.
Which meant not exercised, and you meant to exercise them, right?
Yep. So now the question is, should this be returning null if it gets here? Should this throw?
Right. Is that an appropriate no record found?
Well, no, because what it's actually doing is it returned the right number of records. It just had a list with a null in it. So you have no information about it. You see what I mean? There's two options we could go with, right? One, we can put a throw in here. So it actually will throw an exception when it finds bad data, which may be reasonable. Second would be to create a null achievement reward, which would allow us to basically build some information into it, but it would be like an empty achievement reward versus an actual null data type, like a null type, because null types are obviously notoriously bad. So you want to try to avoid doing this kind of thing whenever you can. But I lost you there for a second, Pete.
Yeah, I knocked the the dock umbilical out.
Oh, well, that was good.
Yeah, that didn't.
Yeah, so
work out so great.
Yeah, so nulls aren't great. I think we should throw here. Let's do
Bad
no,
data?
that's not good. Invalid data exception. Here we go. And then we can put in, yeah, so here we go.
Yes, what we just said.
Yeah, well, in this case, yeah, we can say bad reward type for, let's make this
so yeah,
and then we can just do x.id. I'll just do reward ID. Actually, you know what? Probably wouldn't be too bad to actually put what the reward type is.
I was going to say that. I was.
Yeah.
Felt like you were getting there, but yeah, putting that actual type in probably would help because it's really the problem.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. I think that looks good.
Now, do we want to force that to throw so we can test that as well? Probably, huh?
Yep.
Get rid of that little white dot.
Yep.
White dot's an enemy.
White dot. So I should now add a new. Got to add a bad file to it. Oh. So then this will be a basic reward bad type. So then copy that. Put that in here.
Just call it bad.
Yep, bad type.
That's all you need, right? Yeah.
Yep. So there we go. So now I can do
Do a bad type test.
Yep. Let's say reward with bad type throws invalid. I'll just say throws exception. Put this in there, and then this is going to actually be basic rewards, bad type.
Should you boilerplate that one? It's probably the only one you're going to do that way.
Yep. That's why I was just going to do it on its own. I'm wondering how we should catch this exception. Can this do like a should throw? Should be exception. I don't know if you can use shouldly to do the exception capturing.
Let me do a little Googling.
Yeah, why don't you look that up? I want to do it through just a normal try catch.
Testing exception messages with shouldly. Stack Overflow. Should.throw exception method returns the exception. Throw exception. My exception. So should.throw exception, and then you put in the pointies the exception type.
Oh, let's give it a try.
And then you do a lambda to the actual function.
Oh, you know what? That's why it wasn't working. Is because it was actually doing it on the. I was doing it on the construct, right? I was on the builder there, so should. I mean, how is it that you're supposed to use it?
So it was actually leading with should. So should.throw exception is like is actually what. Well, let's see.
Oh.
Were you able to get something out of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's how it was shown. I'm sorry, I had the I had the Google screen in front of your screen. There you go. And then you can do a lambda in there. Boom.
Oh.
That's how they're showing it anyway. Although, what happened there?
I gotta rebuild it and then try to make a change here.
Do you need to include the file again? To copy?
I bet I do. I bet I do. I do.
Look, I'm helping.
Thanks for that, Pete. That was great.
It's my contribution for the stream.
So what didn't it like? Should throw invalid. Oh, but file not found. Did I type this in wrong? I did. Actually, I named the file wrong. It's missing an S. I was wondering why it was above it. I should have realized. Hey, now we're getting that, right?
Yeah.
So now we're getting the exception. And now we don't have a white dot on there. We know that the exception will be thrown. Perfecto. That's pretty cool. All right, so this we actually need to do a couple of tests here.
Celebrate, you know.
Yeah, that's why we got to get like what the what Code Rush has, right? Because it does like they have like the he's awesome. It's like it does the thing where it's like it comes in.
Yeah, that'll be the Friday. That's the Friday stream. Working on that stuff.
Yeah, working on that stuff. Yeah, it was pretty neat though. It's like, we gotta figure out how to do some of that. Yeah, so I wanted to do this. I wanted actually, we got to test some of the records themselves, right? So
Right.
we should actually do like just test the first one. Here, actually, put this in there. Right, so then we can make sure that's actually the first one. Oop.
Did you call it item ID, maybe?
No, you know what it is? We actually don't have an ID on that.
Really?
We do not have an ID on it. No. Yeah, we don't. Because if you look at, right, so it's this. So we don't actually have an ID on here.
Oh.
Oh. There we go. So this should probably not even build at the moment. We don't even have a way of passing in the ID to it.
Yeah, right. It's not going to come from anywhere.
So let's go to that. Yes, we want to implement the missing interface. Set. All right. And then we need to take that. There we go.
All right.
So now that's actually going to cause some other errors. So let me do a build here, and we'll go through the error list and get those fixed. Because, thank goodness, it's only 2. Right. So now we just need to do
IDs all around.
Yep.
You get an ID. You get an ID. Did you give them the same ID?
Did I?
I think you did. I think you made them both one. Oh.
Hold on. Oh wait, that's this. I did. It was not intentional.
Yeah, it's what the backup guy does.
There's the redundancy working for you.
Like your Baba Booey.
Okay, so we're gonna have you go out to the street. Gonna have you interview some strippers.
There you go. It's a family show, man. Family show. Can't say stripper.
Well, you can say strippers, you just can't say hookers.
It's 8:07. We're all right.
It's now getting into the late night, version. All right, so that's in there. So now we can actually get that. You know what? We got to move these out into their own files. This is killing me going into that big file. All right, cool. And then, where the heck is this iRepository? You know what? That's what I was going to try to do. So I was going to try to create a basic generic one that we could use, that we could just kind of use it across the board. That just didn't seem to work out. I don't know if there's any cases that we could actually do that, at least at the moment, because there's different types for them. I think we're gonna probably be out of luck.
Sorry, man. I'm having weird sounds in my hardware here.
Weird sounds in the hardware. That's not a good
Oh,
sign.
little chimes and things, like things are coming unplugged.
Oh. Should be one. Reward. Oh, interesting. We actually have to do a test here that says first reward dot should be type of.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so this is that new store item reward. Yeah, so yeah, this is, I forgot how I was doing this. Count. Oh yeah, that's correct. Price. I think that's what it did.
I think you're right.
Yep, 10, 100. Okay. So that should. Oh man, it's already freaking past it. That's awesome. Wait a minute, there was something. Oh, game item ID. That's the other one. Yeah, so we didn't do anything for game item. Yep. Right, so that's why I'm going to leave that out, I think. Let me rename this test.
I don't like that name.
Well, it's a little something. Let's see.
A little something better.
I don't know. How did I name the other ones that were like that one?
I don't remember.
Yeah, there we go. Load all. That makes sense. Load. No, so that's a really good question. So he's asking if we're both working on it at the same time. We work on it independently at the same time because we have it up in GitHub. We aren't unfortunately using the live share. We've attempted it, but we've had some difficulties with the bandwidth requirements of it. I think it's more related to my buddy Pete's connection having a problem. Because like if he tries to start up live share, like his Skype starts dying and everything just gets disconnected on us. So we ran into too many problems with it.
Yeah, I mean, not when if I'm not doing the video share, it seems to be okay. But yeah, I think that something happens on my end.
Yeah.
It seems like so, and it gets a little weird too because I don't see what you're doing while we're talking about it. I only see what I'm doing, kind of if we're doing separate stuff. So that was the other thing we ran into a little bit, but
Yeah.
it was more getting disconnected was not conducive to a nice pleasant stream.
Or if you tried to talk, it was just all like, and your head would be jumping around, be like Max Headroom. Ah, the good old days.
Right, I used to watch that.
Oh, that was the best.
I think it was on like after the A Team or something.
My favorite. So I'd like even that actor. So everything he'd always play on something somewhere, and I'd be like, oh look, it's Max Headroom. It's like
Uh-huh.
even in. I feel like there was something. Oh, he was on Eureka, also. Like he was on there for a while.
He did a lot of work, and he's so
Yeah.
easy to tell because that jawbone, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. All right. So I think we're kind of coming up to the end of the stream here. I think what would be good for us um, to look at doing for this is getting the game item into its own piece next, right? Because so now we've got these loading up, which is great, right? So now we have the achievements, we have rewards, and we have game items. So let's
Okay.
take those pieces and let's figure out how to implement that within the game so that we can use the repository to actually load those items.
Right.
I think, yeah, I think that might be
Cool.
the next best move, and I think it's going to cause us to change uh, some significant pieces of how the game actually operates, uh, probably for the better. I'm hoping it's going to be for the better. It seems like it should.
Okay.
How do
Do
you
we want
feel
to like
about that?
look at some of? No, no. I feel okay about getting that switched out. I mean, the idea of being able to use those resource files to be able to make changes to the game is awesome because then we could start adding features and developing the gameplay a little bit more. So
Hmm.
I'm on board with that. So if you want, we can kind of like start popping open those files maybe and seeing and having some thoughts and discussions about how we're going to do that.
Yeah.
That'd probably be a good wrap for the stream, and then checking our code and all that.
Yeah. So hold on a second here. Let me take care of checking in the code first.
Okay.
So what I actually need to do is I need to stash this. Let's stash these changes. All right, and then let's go to GitHub.
What happened there? Something getting
The
funny?
No, the pull request was never merged. Um, Actually, looking at it, it may not have even had a pull request set up yet
How do we
because there's
just
no
leave it open?
PRs here. Yeah, so I want to get it. Um, I'd like to get it merged in. Shoot, which one was that? That was it's hard to see it on here. Oh, there we go. Missing what the. It's pushed up there. Oh, that's weird. I don't know why I'm not seeing it. Just do that on GitHub. I actually want to go to develop. I'm just going to squash and merge it. All right, very nice. So now that's merged in. Now I should be able to come back in here. I can rebranch it. So I'm gonna check this out. Branch it. Episode. What is today? 10.
10-2. Man, I wish we had been keeping all those episodes. When we first started doing this, we would stream them and then just let them fall away instead of putting them up on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they weren't awesome either, but I would have liked to see it evolve the whole way.
Yeah, right. So that's there. That's this. This is here. All right, great. So stage all these. Let me just go through it real quick. That was the change. Yep. 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 You made those public.
Oh, does info not work? Oh, there it goes.
Yeah. I think there's like Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. There was a message that came up in there that said unaccounted for user state badge info.
Hmm.
I don't know. Yep, so that was there. Yep, yep. All right. Yep. The rest of these are good. All right. So let's say
So achievements,
add
unit tests,
reward
and
data file. That's really what we ended up doing in here.
it is really what we did. Yeah, I guess it's true.
So I just want to get that up on here.
Yeah,
All
'cause
right.
it really was the rewards. It was not the achievements. It was the rewards for the achievements. It's true.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I think the key portions are going to be. So like in here, we're going to have something that, because we don't have like any inversion of control type of stuff set up in here, so we would have to build we'd have to build a fair amount of framework around it to get it to work nicely.
Hmm.
But I think what we can at least do is have some loading functions that will let us construct those.
Right. Well, I mean, even the hard coding is kind of done like in little like builders and factory classes and stuff. So, I mean, wouldn't it make sense to have those access whatever we frame up as like the new repository stuff? Or no, not so much.
They're in weird spots, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm concerned about doing that. So so here we have this build list, right? And then we have this achievements. So the question is, do we leave it as just this list here? Or do we make this the repository?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I see.
So yeah, so that there's
Hmm.
also, that's what I was thinking, like in here there may be a way that maybe what we do is we put some data, I don't know, we put some repositories on here and then we construct it there, and then that way you can use it to get, maybe we
So
can
if
even
it,
do something like maybe create like a data interface that would have all the repositories that we need that we can pass into it.
hmm. So instead of being like filling that variable there, it would actually just be the repository sitting there. So we would access it when we needed it.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense too, like you could kind of dirty it and update the running game sort of like we were talking about.
Seems like it should be possible, yeah.
That's kind of neat.
That's what I was, because I think if we go that route, that gives
Hmm.
us a bit of it should give us the ability to have different pieces use the loaders to get the information that it needs when it's going to do it, right? So like the achievement doesn't actually need the reward in the game item while it's doing the check for the achievements, right?
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
But once the achievement is hit, then it does need to go and get what the rewards are. And so that's why I feel like that's how that breakup can happen. And then when the reward's doing its thing, it can get the game item that's associated with it to create the store item.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I'm thinking that's what I'm kind of thinking along those lines, right? So I'm also thinking that what probably will end up being good is having an you know what? Do you know if there's a way? I feel like there is a way to use an interface but not actually create an object for it.
Use an interface, but not
Yeah,
actually create an object for it.
yeah. I know, it's weird. So my thought was along the lines of, I thought it would be nice to have something that would be like just call it. Right. We'll go with the Uncle Bob name, right? So we can have something that's like this, and we'll have the gateway, right?
Hmm.
And so I'm not quite sure. And then in here, I don't want to have to actually create a concrete type for it. I want to be able to just.
Oh, like a virtual kind of interface.
Yeah, I've seen it done. I feel like it requires some magic, and
I see what you're saying. Okay, so you want to use that interface as if it was an instance.
yeah. I'm gonna try. We'll figure it out next time. And maybe we just have to do an instance for now, and just an extra bit of code that seems unnecessary. Maybe it doesn't even. Maybe it shouldn't even be an interface. You know what I mean? Maybe that's really
maybe
the
it's
answer.
more.
Maybe it's just a
Yeah,
data
it's like a
gateway.
base.
Yeah, because what I want this gateway to be is basically access to the repositories, right? So it's basically just going to have properties on it for each of the repositories.
Okay. All right. So it's okay. It's like a hub, sort of.
That's why I called it the data gateway. Was that it's like it'll have all the stuff on there. It's not really like the other things you'll see that will do stuff like that would be more along the lines of like a unit of work, but that's not what this actually is. Because we don't have any type of unit of work that's happening here.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's kind of where that's where I'm thinking I want to go next week.
Okay. Well, we'll have to remember to watch the last 8 minutes or so of this episode next week, so we remember that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Let me see. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think that's good.
All right. So I guess that about wraps it up for tonight. We're a little early.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't have like any new exciting stuff that I've seen recently. I was trying to. Yeah, I don't
What,
know.
like a little segment?
Yeah.
A little end of the stream segment?
Yeah. Did you ever end up getting that font? The
I, I
No.
did not. No, I did not.
Yeah, I'm still liking it. I'm liking this font.
I like it a lot. I just haven't grabbed it. My time has been pretty packed. So when it's time to open up the editor and start coding, I kind of just get to it. I haven't had a lot of leisure time.
Yeah. All right.
But, no, I intend to though. It's cool. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, we'll be back on Friday. We'll be doing this stuff. I'm gonna do a high Pete again.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing
Oh yeah.
animations and stuff for the
Yeah, we're playing. Friday's our happy hour of code. We do doing some JavaScript, and we're actually using the Phaser game engine for trying to interact with the stream. Basically doing the stuff that people are already doing with Streamlabs and Stream Elements and that stuff. But we thought it would be fun to do it for ourselves, learn a little bit more about that portion of it, in the hopes that learning enough about that piece will be able to help us put this game into the actual stream itself, right?
Right. So yeah. So maybe you'll be able to play Potato Chip Miner while you watch us build Potato Chip Miner.
Yeah. That'd be so
awesome.
crazy. That'd be
Layers, man. Layers upon layers.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
So I guess we digress.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for joining us. It's been awesome.
Thank you very much. All right. Have a great night.